If you're looking to purchase any figures on today's list, you probably will have to sell some blood or a vital organ, or heck, maybe even your soul. I'm totally kidding. Your soul is worthless. Who would want that? But quite honestly, if you have one of these lying around your bedroom floor or in your closet somewhere, you're rolling in absolute dough. Because today we're going to count down the top 5 most expensive Marvel Legends action figures out there. By the way, I might have to update this list, obviously, just because the market fluctuates a lot. There might be a re-release of a figure or a newer version of a particular figure, and for some reason it makes the original drop off a little bit. So as I said, there may be some fluctuation here and there. So even at the moment of me uploading this, there might have been a bidding war for a figure, or somebody might have gotten a fantastic deal. So it just depends. But at the moment of me recording this, I did do a fair amount of research, and I know I usually say, well, my research consists of me like eating a burrito and Googling something for like 2 minutes. But no, this one was actually all out. I went through a couple of different websites. I went on eBay and I found out what the top 5 most expensive Marvel Legends figures are out there. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment. If you guys enjoy the content, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get straight into it with number 5. And I probably should have clarified that we're not going to have any multi-packs, any Build-A-Figure figures, or any deluxe figures. These are just going to be the regular release single carded action figures. They can be a part of a Build-A-Figure wave. If they're single releases, then again, all of those fall into today's list. Also, it doesn't matter if they're from Toy Biz or from Hasbro. It really doesn't matter what era they're from, as long as they're Marvel Legends. So at number 5, without further ado, we have Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock, from the Netflix universe. Let's not forget he is also part of that Man-Thing Build-A-Figure wave. And yes, he did have a very short appearance on She-Hulk, and then a little cameo in the No Way Home film. But for the most part, this action figure has been able to hold its value extremely well. All of those action figures from the Netflix universe, from the Defenders, were able to really sustain their value long term, and that has surprised a lot of the newer, guppy, noob MCU fans, people that aren't really too familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's nice to see Matt Murdock get that love, because I've said this before, but that entire Netflix universe was just absolutely superb. I was a huge fan of Elektra, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, and then obviously Punisher. But easily, Daredevil and Punisher were 2 of my top favorite Marvel projects. And even though we haven't really seen too much of them, and we haven't heard too much of that entire Defenders universe, it would be nice to have them reintegrated into the MCU somehow. And like I said, hopefully the future holds a little bit more hope for those of us that are big Marvel fans. Regardless, the action figure recently has been selling solid for about $100, including shipping and taxes. You're going to pay a little bit over $100. We see some of them kind of play around with the shipping. Some of them might charge a little bit more on shipping and then less on the actual figure. But like I said, if you add everything together, you should be able to pay around $100. I've seen some of them that are pre-owned or without the Build-A-Figure piece. Those go for a little bit under 100. I've seen some of them without the Build-A-Figure piece go for about 70. And if you're not really interested in the box, if you just want a pre-owned version of this action figure, you're still going to be paying around $60 if you guys are interested. And I'm sure they're going to continue to release new versions, especially after his appearance in She-Hulk. But like I said, I still think this figure will hold a lot of value, not only short term but long term, and throughout the foreseeable future. So that is our number 5. Let's move on to number 4. And this figure was definitely before my time, not because this figure was released before I was, shoving myself out of my mother, but just because it was way before I started to actually legitimately collect action figures. We're talking about the Phasing Ghost Rider, which was released all the way back in 2004. According to my long, extensive research, which, by the way, consists of me just reading a random eBay description, this is supposed to be some sort of chase action figure. So Basically, this figure was released for every, I don't know, 10, maybe 15, 20 different regular versions of this particular Ghost Rider. I didn't even know Marvel did that back then, but I guess it was a thing. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to find, definitely harder to come by. This is an action figure that consistently sells. Combining the shipping and the actual price for the item, it goes really strong for over $90 depending on the condition of the packaging, but you will be paying anywhere from like 90 to very low 100s. That's brand new. If you're looking for something with like just a beat up box that somebody just abused, or has a lot of discoloration, you could probably pick that one up for about 70. And if you want an open one, the price actually drops exponentially. I think this is a really good pickup right now, especially because we haven't really heard too much of Ghost Rider. There hasn't been a lot of spec news on him, but I guarantee you, if for any reason he decides to make an MCU appearance, the value for this particular action figure is definitely going to climb. But it's definitely one, if you're interested in just collecting Marvel Legends in general, if you want a lot of the newer, brand new aesthetics and a lot of the newer articulation and the newer tech, this is definitely not the figure for you. I think you should definitely skip on it. But if you don't mind too much of bulky articulation and ugly pins, then this is definitely a must-have, especially if you're a big Ghost Rider fan. For our third spot, we have the new Goblin from the Spider-Man 3 film, which is technically Harry Osborn. This is also part of the coveted Sandman Build-A-Figure figure, which was released way back then. It's also fascinating and definitely worth mentioning that this is not the most popular Sam Raimi / Tobey Maguire film. From the trilogy, probably Spider-Man 2 was the most famous and popular and the most well received from critics, but for some unknown reason this figure has spiked up in value over the past couple of years. If you wanted open, I think you can still find it for a reasonable price range. I think somewhere along the lines of like $40 to $50. But if you want a brand new one in solid condition, you may be paying upwards of $200. It just depends on the market. It depends on the time frame, really, and whether there are a lot available on eBay or whatever online retailer you prefer. But you will be paying anywhere from like high 100s, so like 170, I would say, all the way up to low 200s. We have seen, like I said, some bids here and there, or some sell for a little bit lower, but I think the market overall is going to dictate that it's going to sell high 100s. I would say even on the lower end, you're still going to be paying about 170 to 180 with shipping included, and that's assuming you're probably going to get one that isn't in a really good condition. I'm referring to the packaging, by the way, in really good condition. So honestly, I would probably skip on getting the new figure. I would probably just get a used one if you really want the figure itself. The only reason to pick up a brand new in packaging is either you're going to display the action figure that way, or you're going to Build-A-Figure. But regardless, it's definitely a figure that has stood the test of time. It has always been relevant and has just continued to gain value regardless of what's happening with Marvel, the MCU, or action figures in general. The second spot on today's list has to go to probably one of my favorite Marvel MCU villains of all time. We are talking about Doc Ock. Not only is he one of my favorite villains, but it's also one of my top probably 5 favorite MCU films of all time. Now let me clarify, if you're not into retro old school action figures, this might not be the figure for you, because Hasbro has decided to, I wouldn't say re-release a Doc Ock, but you're getting a Doc Ock from the No Way Home film, so that's from technically the Tom Holland trilogy, but it's basically the same character. It's the exact same actor, but you are going to get, the updated, Marvel Legends technology, the newer articulation points, the newer body molds, all of that good stuff. So if you don't really mind getting a newer version, or one that's not necessarily based on the original Sam Raimi trilogy, you guys can always wait for Hasbro to release it. I think it's already up for pre-order if you guys are interested. But if you guys are big fans of the old school, if you guys want something that's brand new in packaging, you can pick this particular figure up. But again, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the new Goblin. You're going to be looking at like low 200s to upwards of like 230, 240 with shipping included. As I said, you can probably pick it up opened if you're not really interested in packaging or the Build-A-Figure piece. You can probably pick it up for much less than that, but you still will be paying for a used figure around like $30 to $40 depending on the condition. But if you want an unopened brand new action figure from that particular film, it is going to cost you a pretty penny. But as I said, it's definitely worth it if you're a big fan of the original Sam Raimi trilogy, which personally I am. So definitely keep an eye on it on whatever different website you want to check out for these third-party sellers. But as I said, the market has fluctuated, but a lot of these Spider-Man villains, especially from the MCU, have clearly spiked in value, and I think this particular character action figure is a perfect testament to that. Now, moving on to our top spot on today's list. I know you don't have to adjust your crusty ass eyes. That is really what this figure is going for. We are talking about the Marvel Legends The End Hulk, which is part of that Fin Fang Foom Build-A-Figure wave. Now, granted, I think the Build-A-Figure does add a ton of value to this particular figure, and really all of the figures in this wave have gone up in value exponentially over the past couple of years, specifically because Hasbro has been a little bit reluctant to re-release the Fin Fang Foom Build-A-Figure action figure, or at any capacity, even if it was like maybe just a deluxe figure that they decided to release on the side. It seems more and more that if this figure were ever to be released in modern times, it would probably be released through the HasLab Project program. It would be crowdfunded, and it would be probably a little bit bigger than the original Build-A-Figure figure was. However, in today's market, if you want to pick one of these up, you have two options. You can pay an absolutely ridiculous amount for the Fin Fang Foom Build-A-Figure figure loose, or you can actually go and buy this wave, and you would be paying upwards of $1,000 if you were paying this entire wave brand new. However, there are always other options. You can actually buy some cheaper knockoffs or lesser quality knockoffs online, which actually I've heard are pretty decent in terms of quality. So that's always an avenue. If your conscience doesn't hurt you too bad, you can actually go ahead and support some of these overseas counterfeiters. So that would probably be an option if you're looking to actually build the Build-A-Figure. However, if your only interest is the Hulk itself, you can actually pick one up opened in good condition for about $45 to $50 online. But if you do want one that is unopened, mint in packaging, there is no doubt in my mind you will easily be paying over $300. Again, there will always be outliers. I'm sure there's an auction that ended for much less than that, but it's consistently going for brand new in packaging well over $300. So save up if you're looking to pick this figure up. But there you have it, our top 5 Marvel Legends or most expensive Marvel Legends list. Definitely stay tuned because I do want to make a few more top 5 lists for action figures. We might be doing like a top 5 Black Series list, or a top 5 deluxe Marvel Legends, or a Build-A-Figure list. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned because those videos are coming soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe if you guys enjoy the content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.